When you're going through the ups and downs of life, how do you navigate what you're going through, but you don't make your partner feel emotionally unsafe?
So I think I didn't do it effectively at the front end, so I would just be honest and transparent and say that I was not effective at this at all. But I think the main issue is our ability to communicate, and not communicate what's going on in the situation, but communicate how we're feeling and why we're responding a certain way. I think that our partners, whoever they may be, would probably feel more safe if they had a point of reference. But when you just blow up on people, or when you have these responses that the other person just thinks it's coming out of nowhere, in many cases, it's because as Black males, we are taught to internalize so much. And in general, we lash out at the people that we assume aren't going to go anywhere. I mean, that's just the reality. You know, we're young. The people we lash out at most are our parents and family because they kind of stuck there and they can't leave. And so I think that is important. Our ability to really understand why we're feeling certain ways and why we're having these responses, because if we are not able to communicate effectively, we can't certainly solve that problem.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
from
I'm sorry.
Camille, I'll add to that. I think it comes down to the whole conversation around language, right? Because for me, you know, early on, it was frustrating because I didn't have the language or the words to describe how I was feeling. So the frustration of not being able to clearly communicate how I was feeling to a loved one or somebody about the situation, and then me trying to explain it with them not getting it, just made the frustration a little bit more. And I think we see that a lot, not only current present day as we continue to evolve as Black men, but then also in the younger generation, it's language. Even to go back to what Mark was saying, like, I can say, JT, yo, your hair looks fly now because I've done the work to get to the point where I can compliment another Black man and not make myself feel like, oh, shoot, like, I need to add some extra jargon to that, or like a little negative connotation, so it doesn't seem like, you know what I'm saying, like I'm being, you know, whatever the conversation or the word people want to use. Like, I can give another brother a comment, yo, man, you look dope, you're handsome, man, and not feel a certain way because I've done the work. And I think if we can start to create the spaces where, with our younger folks, which I didn't have this when I was younger, because I can count on one hand how many times I told my dad I loved him. Even to now, I say it more now as an adult, but as a kid, I never heard that from him. And so being able to create space and understand that now, and being able to create a language around expressing your feelings in a way where it becomes normal that I can compliment another brother and it doesn't have to be anything but that. You know what I'm saying? So language, giving youth the words to be able to describe their emotions and how I feel. And that goes back to the mental health piece. And I think it all connects in every aspect that we're talking about today. Is if I don't have the language, then I'm going to communicate it in another way because I am frustrated because I cannot say what I feel and no one is getting it because I don't have the words. Right.
Yeah. Can I add something to that too, Camille?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So I completely agree with both statements about the language. And just having to internalize a lot as a kid. And I know we've all heard this, you know, and I'll probably go on record saying our counterparts probably heard the same thing. You know, boys don't cry. You know, I don't know at what point we transition from being babies to whatever age. I don't know the standard age, but you're told certain things like you just don't show emotions. You know, you don't cry. You don't exhibit anything that you see a woman do. You shouldn't do that. So then when you start to feel these emotions, you really don't know what to do with it because there's no outlet that you've been given to share them. So that doesn't just stop in that moment. It actually starts to get worse as you become older and actually start experiencing different types of relationships. You know, it surpasses just a relationship with friends and family. Now you're in relationships and romantic relationships, and now there's issues, right? And so when issues arise, most Black men probably just shut down. We just get quiet. And it's so uncomfortable for people because they don't know what's wrong. You can't communicate what's wrong. They ask you what's wrong because there's a clear change of energy, clear change of how you're showing up, but you don't even have the language like Brandon said. You don't, I mean, like my man said, I'm sorry, you don't have the language to communicate how you feel. right? So it's just a weird space, and I think a lot of us just don't go to therapy, and we don't go, to get counseling so that we can actually work through those emotions and communicate it. And even to the point, I have to find myself like, when was the last time you cried? When was the last time you, just talking to myself, release emotions and let things go? Because all of that is a pressure cooker. Like we said earlier, it's a pressure cooker. So it's just sitting there boiling up because you don't know how to communicate. You don't know how to express love. You don't know how to say I love you. You don't know how to say I'm hurt. You don't know how to say I'm scared. You don't know how to communicate any of that. So that's the issue I think a lot of us have.